Look, all I want to know to start is, Jen, how did you know that it was a tattoo on their forearm?
I have no idea.
That was insane.
That was one of the first things that came up too. You're like,
Yes.
oh yeah, that would be a cool tattoo or something. We're looking up tattoos. We were Googling that.
Yeah.
But like it had to. What else could it have been?
You guys literally Googled dark. It could have been a scar. It could have been like, a tattoo for sure, but it could have been writing on
But
there.
that it calls them? Yes, I
know.
knew it.
Yeah,
So
we
cool.
locked in.
But you
nailed
played
that
it off
early
so
on.
well, and you're just like, yeah, it could
Nice,
be.
John.
I had no idea.
I was sweating under my skin.
You were?
right there. I was so nervous.
Neither of you gave away anything.
There were
Well
moments where me and Kristen would just like look at each other real quick. We would just do like one of these.
I didn't see it.
We both like
Yeah, because when
see each
we're
other's
talking
face.
about things that are right on the edge,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not going to look over there.
Yeah.
All right, Jen,
And
what do we
then we
think?
both look at
Like,
each
because it's the
other.
only way, you know?
Yeah. And I notice that sometimes. So like I won't, if you're looking at me and you're talking about something that's dead on, I'll be like just looking at you, and then all of a sudden you'll look away and I'll like glance
You
over.
give the side eye.
Sometimes I think there was one moment where you guys predicted something and I looked over and Kristen was like
I think
wide-eyed looking at me.
I feel like I
was like,
saw
"Yo,
that
that's
one
so
time, and
great."
I was like, oh, I'm turning
no.
this way because you both had this face of like, what?
I like try not to look at you, but I can't.
I like
And
it.
then
It's just fun in the moment.
Wait, Calvin, it's a brand? I thought it was a tattoo. Ooh. Because it was red. Wait, doesn't it say it's a...
it said it was red, and then it went black.
Although we'll have to look when we get to it, because a brand would be hardcore.
Yeah, seriously.
Because there was even more pain to get it
That
on
actually, I feel like a brand would make more sense
More
than
sense
Voldemort.
because it hurts.
Yeah, but in my head and in the movies, it is more like a tattoo. Yeah, in the movies, it's like a tattoo.
I mean,
I
they're
forget
very
exactly where it is.
similar,
I'll see when
though,
we
right?
get to
I
the
don't know.
actual thing.
I think it's like in the first little short description, almost in like the first few paragraphs. Because I remember you were reading it in the end of last podcast, and you're like, "Oh, I just nailed something that I got right." And you're like, "I was like, there it
Oh
is."
yeah, I must have underlined it and said something.
It is.
about
That's
Calvin says it's a magical brand. That's interesting.
that's along the lines of a tattoo.
Yeah, pretty kind of the same thing. I
Come
guess
on, Calvin.
I
Give
know.
me some credit.
we're giving you some
I'm
credit.
just kidding.
I just think because I had the movies perception in my mind that it was more a tattoo.
But it changes color
Yeah.
the stronger he gets, is what I'm gathering. We didn't fully get the answer, but that's what it kind of seems like. Which is why Crockpot and Snape both were like, it's starting to get more filled in.
Yeah.
So it probably disappeared while he was hiding.
Yeah.
As a ghost or whatever being he was. And then as he gets more powerful. But then he called it, and then it hurt him, though, when he called it. Like, did it just hurt Wormtail, or does it hurt everyone? He said if everyone should feel it. So I'm assuming everyone,
It hurt? Was there a description in the book that it said it hurt?
maybe I missed that.
What do you mean when you say it hurt? You mean like in general? Because
Wormtail, I thought when his finger was on it, it sounded like he was screaming in pain.
well, I couldn't
that
tell about the
wrong?
pain because he had his arm cut off.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is there was some pain element just because of the way Snape grabbed his arm so like, I don't know, instinctually, like he couldn't even help himself when Moody was talking to him on the other side of the tapestry at the bottom of the stairs. It was like there was a moment where Snape grabbed his left arm.
Yeah.
And that was something that it seemed like Moody did, or like I was thinking other Voldemort supporters can almost like maybe not communicate with each other that way, but maybe something along those lines. Because why would Snape grab his arm? That felt weird. And the way
I
that
thought it was more
Karkaroff
like-
came in, it was Karkaroff, right? To Snape's office and was like showing the arm like something was happening. But we didn't know what that was at that point. So I don't know. Was it pain? I'm trying to find where Wormtail was talking about it,
Yeah, if you could do that.
but I just can't find
Great.
it yet.
I thought it was after he's like risen and he touches Wormtail's arm. It like is painful because I thought I heard, well, I was listening to it again, and I thought it said like they should all feel it. So I guess I was wondering if that was pain or is like feeling it as like, or maybe like he like, was it Calvin?
Yeah.
Like a branding, maybe
Yeah.
that's what
So
it felt like.
The way
Coming
it says
back.
it here on 645 and mid page, Voldemort moved Wormtail's robes up past his elbow, and Harry saw something upon the skin there, something like a vivid red tattoo, a skull with a snake protruding from its mouth. Something like a
like
vivid red tattoo. Not like, well, yeah, hard to say. Could be a brand or anything else.
And it makes more sense
magical.
if it is a brand, because if it's like a tattoo, it
yeah,
probably
like
isn't
he
an
would say
actual
a tattoo on the arm if it was.
So a brand is the thing that's closest to that. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
He didn't say a red tattoo.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not like a brand like we would think, like on cows with heat, but like a magical brand, something else equivalent.
There was another note, because you just saw that, and I was curious actually in my head if we had misread that to see it saying a brand rather, or if there's two different versions, like an English version that says brand and an American version that says tattoo or something like that.
Ooh, interesting.
But there's not, but I did find an error, an editorial error in this book, because I was reading it in my book, and all of a sudden I saw a good line, so I copy pasted it. I like have a website that I'll check out, or I'll like type in the first line, so I don't have to type in like 3 paragraphs. Like I'll type in the first line, and like a quote will pop up, and the quote was completely different, and I was
No
shocked.
way. How?
The order of who comes out of the wands. So
Really?
in my book,
That's actually really important,
yes.
right?
So in my book, what does yours say for the person
So
that
this is
who is Harry looking forward to seeing the most?
The audiobook?
Oh wait. Who Harry's looking forward to
So
seeing
when the
most?
people are coming out of the wands,
Okay, because it was in reverse order of how Voldemort
It
killed
says
people.
Bertha.
Yeah.
So
No?
it was in reverse order. So Bertha came, and then who came after Bertha?
His
Then
mom.
No.
No,
Bertha, then Frank.
No.
Right?
Frank came, and then
Oh
Bertha.
yeah, Frank,
Frank, Bertha.
Bertha.
And his mom.
Then it's
No. There was one more, wasn't there?
wasn't
Because there was
Cedric
5
first?
people.
It was Cedric, Frank,
Oh, Cedric,
Bertha,
Frank, Bertha,
his mom,
his
and
dad.
his dad.
His dad.
That's 5.
Yep.
So that's the normal order. That wasn't originally how she wrote it. She
No
wrote it with
way.
the mother.
First?
She wrote it with,
How do you know this? Where is it?
because there was a discrepancy in this.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So, I wonder if that was like a mistake.
So she found it was a mistake because she wrote it was in this order. Cedric came out first. Bryce came out. Bertha Jorkins. Then she did her father coming out, and then she did the mother, because she wanted, I think, the mother to be last.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But also, we don't know that much about how it actually went down.
Yeah.
Like, in my mind, it would make sense for the father to die first.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't really know how it goes down. But
Yeah.
there's we get the portrayal in the movie of him kind of walking down the hallway. We don't really see that, but we see Voldemort killing his mother and then killing Harry. So we kind of have that order where like the
Right,
protection that Lily
Yeah.
cast was because she was physically in the room or something like that.
Oh, you're right. So it would have to be father then mother, because
Yeah.
what's Voldemort going to do? Kill the mother and then be like,
Yeah,
hold
and
on,
then
Harry,
go
let
on.
me kill your dad and
Yeah.
then come back to you.
So she originally had it out of order where the mother comes first, or the father comes first and then the mother comes last. But her editor picked up on that and was like, this isn't how the order is actually set. So she had to change it.
Whoa.
So like some early editions, and this edition right here of the illustrated one, because I think they went back to the completely original ones.
Whoa, yeah.
So mine is like a British version of that. So a favorite is spelled all the time. They have revising instead of studying. So that
Ooh,
always
nice.
confused me.
That's
And
weird.
in those versions, it has her mother comes, or her father comes, and then her mother comes. And it's different in different versions. It's interesting. But anyway, welcome to our podcast. I'm John,
Jen.
Danny?
And Kristen.
and this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. These are just your typical reminders. Go give us a rating. Go give us a review. Go check us out on YouTube. We have a Patreon if you want to support us on Patreon. All that other stuff that like you typically give at the beginning of podcasts. That's what I'm just doing right now. Go to our website. We're doing some other stuff on our website. Throwing down different, even blog articles and stuff like that. I think the one thing that I want to highlight right now, it's forthcoming, and we are, I mean, I haven't even ran this by the group, but I'm planning on doing this. The new Hogwarts Legacy video game is coming out on February 23rd, I think, of the new year. And I'm planning to do some streams of that. because I think it looks like an unbelievable video game, and it looks like it's like geared for Harry Potter nerds like myself. So I'm going to probably be streaming that, but it's going to be completely on our YouTube channel. Go check us out on YouTube because we live stream all the podcasts from this point on. So if you want to join us live and like really contribute to the podcast, that is the place for it. Our numbers keep increasing though, which is our community is getting so incredible. The podcasts keep growing because we're getting live comments on the podcast where you can make things better and ask questions that you guys want too, which is really what I want. Harry Potter has always been about community and just fostering that community, and this podcast has kind of always been about that as well. It's just so much fun. I love doing this and vicariously living through Jenn and Danny reading this for the first time. It's so much fun for me. So enjoy these chapters. This is the second to last podcast that we're going to do on this book. We are recording the next one very soon, but enjoy these chapters of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Wow. Cool. I like that.
Still trying to find that.
Yeah, people are saying the first edition had it backwards. So it's in Priori Incantatem in that chapter. And
Where they come out, Jen?
Oh, I'm trying to find not that.
Oh, the brand?
Still on that.
Jen's like, I got it right, darn it.
I'm still trying to find how he's like the wording, the page. Because it's after.
Yeah, and the whole time.
I thought there was a space in between. That's what I thought.
Wormtail is weeping the whole time. And so that when that's the start of that paragraph in the middle of 645, Wormtail is begging. He's like, Master, please, please. And then pulls down the thing, his sleeve so he can see it. And then the next paragraph, or at the end of that paragraph, he says, Wormtail is uncontrollably weeping. So there was pain in general at this point, but it almost, to me, I was reading that as Voldemort is ignoring Wormtail's pain, and he's more focused on the tattoo. And in that paragraph, it's, or somewhere near here. Oh, the next paragraph. Yeah, it's 645
you're
still.
right. I thought it was
it's back,
further.
he said softly. They will have noticed it. And now we shall see. Now we shall know. I took that to mean they'll know who's loyal. So everyone who has this mark, they will have seen it. The mark should be bright, again, red or whatever color it is. And then it's up to them whether they're going to travel here to reunite with everyone.
There's a really important line in this too. Yeah, so they know because of the brand, the tattoo. And there's a line where one is his most faithful servant.
I know.
One has betrayed him forever.
Yep, I was already naming them who they were.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that theory. There's 3 people that it mentions.
One faithful servant. That one's like too cowardly.
Yeah, one has left him forever.
And one has left him forever. It was those 3.
One is too cowardly. He will be punished. And then another one is his most faithful servant.
Yeah.
We're going to try to figure out who those 3 people are.
I'm still back and forth between.
Crackpot.
I just had another. Okay.
All right, hold on. So this is how, someone give me a very quick summary. We're on chapter 33, the Death Eaters.
I feel like this chapter is just all of the stuff before Harry and Voldemort fight.
Yeah.
So this is the Voldemort monologue. Voldemort's back now, and he's gathering his people. All the Death Eaters show up. Well, not all of them. Some of them, many of them even. At least 30 people were there, Harry said towards the end of the chapter. So a bunch of Death Eaters all in a circle, and Voldemort is kind of like monologuing, explaining the whole thing. He feels quite victorious and he's about to kill Harry. So he's just kind of doing his thing, explaining it all. This is his glory moment that he's been waiting for however long. But the fight doesn't begin until the next chapter.
The chapter ends with him saying, Wormtail, give him his wand. And it's like, oh, well, now we're on to the duel. It's like a Disney movie. Every good Disney movie, the antagonist is playing with his food before it. Has a whole long speech. But this speech is great because it fills us in on so much information. It says this: Wormtail's robes were shining with blood now. He had wrapped the stump of his arm in them. My lord, he choked. My lord, you promised. You did promise. Hold out your arm, said Voldemort lazily. Oh, master. Thank you, master. He extended the bleeding stump, but Voldemort laughed again. The other arm, Wormtail. Master, please, please. Voldemort bent down and pulled out Wormtail's left arm. He forced the sleeve of Wormtail's robes up past his elbow, and Harry saw something upon the skin there. Something like a vivid red tattoo. A skull with a snake protruding from its mouth. The image that had appeared in the sky at the Quidditch World Cup. The Dark Mark. Voldemort examined it carefully, ignoring Wormtail's uncontrollable weeping. So that was what even Jenn was talking about, the weeping that comes after it. It could have been in some kind of pain, but he had his arm chopped off too.
Well,
and
yeah.
you guys mentioned that his heart, because I always thought it was just his hand, but you're like, it could be the stump of his arm.
sounded like
it could
it.
be a
But then it
large
says
portion.
somewhere wrist, so then I think you were right. But when the first go around, it doesn't say where. It just says like a stub of an arm. I'm like, what? To me, that could be like.
Yeah, I was picturing something small at the shoulder, like literally missing an arm.
It's
But wrist makes more sense.
Yeah, it's like.
But it does say brand on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it literally says he pressed his long white forefinger to the brand on
there you
Wormtail's arm.
Oh, nice.
All right,
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Calvin,
Reading too
we
high on the
acquiesce
page.
to your knowledge on Harry Potter. Well done.
Nice,
I
Calvin.
missed that twice. But I had a quick thing after. I cut you off though.
No, you're good.
Okay. It says a scar on Harry's forehead, seared with a sharp pain again, and Wormtail let out a fresh howl. Voldemort removed his fingers from Wormtail's mark, and Harry saw that it had turned jet black. So then I was wondering, did Voldemort have to touch one of the death marks branding for it to like alert everyone else? And then did
nice.
Wormtail's hurt because of that? And that's why he screamed? That's what I was wondering.
Like he was sending out the signal.
Yeah. Which
Through
would make
Wormtail.
sense because I feel like he likes that kind of stuff. But maybe that was just my take on it.
That's interesting.
That's an interesting one.
Because it says, yeah,
Maybe we'll find out.
a look of cruel satisfaction. Oh. Don't look at them, Danny.
What?
I was looking at you.
No, I look up and he's like looking sideways. I'm like, oh no.
You got to warn each other now.
Yeah, the longer we're doing this, we're picking up on all your little things.
Yeah. Someone in the chat is saying, how maniacal would it be? What if Voldemort kept making Wormtail cut off more and more of his body parts?
Oh my
Start with a
gosh.
finger, then a hand, then an arm,
Oh
then his
my
leg.
goodness.
Before long, he's just all silver. he's like
Wouldn't that
just a head.
be
He's
like Darth
Voldemort.
Vader?
Yeah. Honestly, that would be hilarious.
Or the Terminator?
Yeah, the Terminator. There's a line that caught me off guard in these chapters too. And I want to talk about this for a second. Voldemort says this: "You stand, Harry Potter, upon the remains of my late father," he hissed softly. "A muggle and a fool, very like your dear mother. But they both had their uses, did they not? Your mother died to defend you as a child, and I killed my father. You see how useful he has proved himself in death." But the line he goes, "a muggle and a fool, very like your dear mother." Is he referring to his mother as a muggle, or just a fool,
Just a
or
fool.
both a muggle and a fool?
I took it as muggle and a fool. I don't think she's a fool, but Voldemort does. Only because this would make sense. This would connect what Hagrid was saying to Harry a few chapters ago about Harry representing muggles and all muggle-born wizards. It feels like it would line up with what other people are saying, but it's the first time we're really seeing it outright. Although, do we trust Voldemort?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It falls along
In a
my
weird way,
theory,
I
so I'm
do
like
trust
it.
what he's saying. I don't know why, but like,
Wait, what'd
why
you
would
say
he
that?
make this up?
I said it falls along my theory, so I like it. Because I said that.
That she's a muggle?
Not that she was muggle born,
Yeah.
but wouldn't that be considered that?
No, I'm thinking she is an actual muggle.
How is she at
does not
Hogwarts?
do magic. We don't know she's at Hogwarts, do we?
Yeah, I thought.
I thought we only heard, because all we know is the Marauders map and whatever. Maybe, I don't think we read anything about Hogwarts as far as she's concerned. We haven't seen her in any of the stories. Like, she didn't come up with Hagrid, so she can't be older
Yeah.
than...
But she
Then
just
James.
stumbled upon Hogwarts. But
No,
also,
but
the aunt, first of all, you couldn't,
Petunia.
Petunia, she
'Cause-
was saying something, it sounded as though like crazy, like, I guess
She
it's-
knew
it
about
could be
wizards. That's
assuming
weird.
it.
Yeah, you're right.
But it sounded like, oh yeah, like my sister and the craziness.
Right, and that's
So
why
I
we
was thinking
assumed
she's
that
Hermione. Like
Petunia was a
Hermione.
squib, and that
No, but that was the second. That was planned. That was like my second guess. My first guess
first guess was what?
was that she was like Hermione. Like Lily was The only one that was like a wizard in an all muggle home.
Yeah. Right. No, I was thinking the same thing, like an all muggle home, but that I guess I still thought of that as being a squib, even if it maybe isn't. But Petunia was not magic, and Harry's mom was.
But where were they? If Harry's mom was a muggle, how would they have met? It sounds like they met at Hogwarts.
Well, James is a muggle lover, so they could have met anywhere. He loves jazz. He was at a club, tapping his foot. So
you're saying to this point in the books, there hasn't been any indication that Lily is a wizard?
Well, that's what I don't think so.
There was.
In my head, for a lot of the time, I've assumed she was.
Yeah. So we all assume that she.
But I just can't think of anything right now.
I thought she was in one of the classes.
I assumed that.
Wasn't Lily?
Did somebody mention?
I don't know. No, I could be me.
Well, now I'm questioning. I'm doubting because I'm like, maybe I just projected that and it was not actually something I read.
You're not quite projecting it, but there are small lines in here that kind of show that she is. There's, I think, maybe 2 or 3 in The Prisoner of Azkaban where it talks about like your mother when she was at Hogwarts or something like that, or your mother when she was here with us or something like that. But the main one that people use to up until this point is Ollivander. When he walks into Ollivander's first to get his wand, he says, "I sold your mother and father their first wands when they came in here," or something like that.
Okay, so that's why we've been thinking that by our default setting.
There were certain
because we've read these little hints.
Yeah, little hints, but we don't really know. It's not like fully confirmed that she's a wizard.
So now Voldemort is saying a muggle and a fool. Do we think Voldemort is just saying Lily is a fool, or she's a muggle? What page are you on? 646.
I think there's a point to this as well where anybody who is not a pureblood wizard is
that's what I was
like
thinking.
He might just use the muggle, and he's like, you know what?
Right, but that's him.
Her parents might not have been.
That's why I find it so ironic.
Yeah, he is trying to eradicate anybody who's not pureblood,
but he wants to live forever.
Yeah, it's like Hitler being Jewish. The irony in that.
There is one thing that I was so confused about. Well, I don't know if I'm getting ahead, so you can stop me. But when Voldemort starts talking about his mom and his dad, and then he says his mom was a witch, his dad was a muggle, his mom died giving birth to him. And I was like, first of all, we haven't heard anyone dying. That's a witch giving birth. I find that so weird.
Why do you think that's weird?
Because they have magical powers. How would that be? They can regrow bones. They can do anything with the Hogwarts hospital. So why did his mom die giving birth? I don't believe it. Or I find it too like an easy out or an easy something. Something seems weird there.
So I mean, going to another chosen one narrative of Star Wars, why did Padme die? She was extremely talented and gifted and had powers, not like outright powers like a Jedi, but her midi-chlorian count is pretty high apparently. Nice.
Probably.
And she died because she maybe lost the will to live. I feel like there are still ways that wizards can die in something like that. I mean, what if she's love struck? And
she doesn't even get to see him.
Exactly. So what if she's so torn up that she doesn't even want this child and loses the will to live or something like that? So I think there's small things like that.
I don't like it.
So keep it in the back of your mind.
And who cares if I like it or not?
There's another one that someone mentioned on our chat that Petunia mentions that she's a wizard in the hut on the rock in the first book.
That Lily is a wizard.
Lily is.
I thought there was a few drops of this. That's why I was like, she is a witch.
Yeah. Thank you, Larson.
Petunia out on the rock.
But to me, like you were saying before, I feel like anything that was mixed blood is a muggle to Voldemort.
So this is really all about Voldemort just saying, if you're not pure blood, you're a muggle as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but then he
is. But like, he's not broadcasting that. Maybe people don't know his background.
But he's the Slytherin heir. Is that from the previous book?
Tom Riddle. Yeah, Tom Riddle, Lord of Voldemort. His books too. He's the heir of Slytherin. Heir of Salazar Slytherin.
But so they didn't have to be pure blood. That's what I keep going back and forth. I'm so confused.
Yeah, that's the interesting question.
I thought it was pure blood
Yeah.
from like the description of
So
the heir of Slytherin.
I'm
What do
assuming
you-
heir meaning
'Cause then
literally like
Malfoy.
heir, like great
Descendant.
great grandchild descendant.
So
like,
the
you
witch.
can't control who your great grandchild marries, you know. So like he's an heir just by direct connection through. I'm assuming his mother.
yeah.
Oh, so you're saying that the bloodline is through him. It
bloodline,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be
Although, why would it go
pure.
through the mother? It never does.
Yeah, whatever.
But so that, I mean, this is an interesting question. What do you think the makeup is of his family?
Of who?
Voldemort's family. So he's a descendant of Salazar Slytherin. He has to have some kind of pure bloodedness in him. Not in him directly, because we find he's not.
Right.
It says that his dad was a muggle, but a squib wouldn't be a muggle. Those are two different
Yeah,
things.
Scoop is not a muggle, yeah. So his dad is a muggle, and his dad was... Have we met him yet in these books?
No, but Tom Riddle, right? That's his name. Mm-hmm. And then he's dead in the beginning with his parents.
So he dies with his parents in the beginning. So that's at least the perception that we get in this book right now. And then his mom is a wizard, has to be a wizard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, according to what we've learned here.
Yeah.
But that was from... Who said that? Who, like, was that Voldemort telling his own
He was
story
saying,
and
yeah.
monologuing?
And then even in
So
the
he could
previous
lie.
book, though,
We
too.
don't have to trust that.
But
in
no,
the previous book,
in a
you're
previous
right.
book, it said it also.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in an orphanage with muggles.
Yeah. So
Right,
that is the one
right.
thing. Do we trust his actual narrative? Do we trust him telling the story? That's the one question we have to answer. But
Why would he? That doesn't make sense.
If
Why
he
would
was
he?
going to lie, there are better ways
Yeah,
to
and
do it.
saying that he's part muggle, he would say he's pure blood.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like it is true.
So what do you think the makeup is of... So his father is a muggle. His mother is a witch. What do you think his mother's family looks like?
I feel like that's where it would come from.
I think,
Slytherin.
yeah, like in my mind, it would have to come from the mother based on what we're seeing. Either that or he considers his father a muggle, just like Harry's father or Harry's mother, but he's not really a muggle. Like maybe it was
Like
his
mixed blood?
great grandmother who was a muggle. And so he considers his whole father's side now like contaminated as muggle, even if they're not. But
So then-
it also could be that like his mother is the only child of a descendant. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why it's the bloodline of Salazar Slytherin. Maybe it's a Slytherin thing, a Salazar thing. They only have one child, and maybe it's not about the male line or female or anything like that. It's just like his mother was the heir of Slytherin, and now he is.
What is the reason that you know of till this point that the Voldemort's father abandons him and the mother, really the mother?
Yeah, he says that it was because she was a witch and he didn't know.
Yeah.
So when he found out, he abandoned them.
And that was mentioned twice.
Yeah.
In a
It just
different
feels
book.
really bizarre because the heir of Slytherin hides the fact that she's a witch. Like if anyone is going to like be proud of like who they are, wouldn't it be the heir of Slytherin?
So
So
do you
it
think that
depends
she
where
was
she was
proud?
living.
I don't know. Could she? No, why would she?
She ran away. She's living in a village because how else would she meet his
Ran
dad?
away from what? From Hogwarts and other things?
Ran away from the magic world. But like ends
Altogether.
like maybe she doesn't want to practice, but she is a witch.
She fell in love.
And then she was trying to
forgot
leave
about
that
her wizarding ways.
world. Or
Why,
maybe
though?
she was supposed to marry someone and she didn't want to.
Ooh, a little scandal brewing.
So she ran away. Or maybe she was just taking, like those usual, I need some space, check it out. And then she falls in love with the villager. And then she was destined to marry this other guy, but she stays. And they have her killed. That would make sense why
Yeah.
Voldemort's mom died in childbirth. But it's a boy, so let's keep the boy. He's the heir. We'll kill her because she disobeyed us. And we'll take him.
This is like a Romeo and Juliet scenario that did not bond the two families, that like made them further apart. And that these two people from different worlds, maybe they fell in love, and once the father discovered who the mother really was, abandoned her. But you might be right. Maybe she just wanted to like go off on her own. She was really in love with this person.
But Voldemort grew up in an orphanage. So I still don't fully get how he heard this whole story. Like, he heard his own story from other people. So his impression of his mother came from who? And how does he know that his father found out his mother was a wizard and then that whole thing happened? Couldn't it have been the opposite? I guess I don't fully buy the current narrative.
Yeah,
So-
that's true because he's a kid.
There is another interesting thing. I think we talked about this last podcast a little bit, but how much do you think a wizard can read someone's mind? Because yeah, he might be making some of this stuff up, but do you also think that he could be reading people's minds to know what their perception of the story was?
Yeah.
I think so.
So like the pensive, you could take your thoughts out. Maybe he even just randomly came across a pensive of like his grandfather's thoughts or something like that. It's a rare object, but maybe because they're the heirs of Salazar Slytherin, they have something like that. And he looked into all this stuff and saw really what happened.
And they have bones and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, memories, would they be contained in bones? Maybe not. But was it implied with Bertha that he did pull her memories out and kind of like wring her dry of memories?
That's what it kind of
I
sounded
think
like
that's the
to me.
implication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he can do that with Bertha,
But that
he
was
might have done it with others.
the other thing is like, did he learn these things and taught himself as he got older, or was he always like this?
Maybe this all started as a quest to
child-
find his origin,
Yeah.
learn about his father. But the only way he could do it, because Hogwarts wouldn't teach him how to read minds.
Yeah.
So he had to learn some dark stuff.
I mean, it's slightly with even the Imperious Curse. You invade someone and you're like kind of a little voice in the back of their mind. But I think there might be something maybe even deeper that you can invade a person's mind, because it seems like that's what Voldemort did with Bertha. And like you said, kind of like wrung her out to dry. Like she was just a shadow of herself after he just kind of went in there and did whatever he wanted and then like got rid of her. She was like expendable. So, I mean, his perception of people is pretty tragic. And like even how he says, your mother died to defend you as a child and I killed my father. And see how useful he has proved himself in death. Like he just views people as useful versus not useful, which is really sad.
You were saying something along the lines of like, don't other wizards and witches know that there's other dark magic out there, and why wouldn't they have burned the bones
Oh, yeah.
of
Like,
Voldemort's dad?
Yeah.
yeah, like when they knew.
That was Danny.
Yeah, like I might have said that in the last podcast. Like Dumbledore would be like, all right, it's time. Let's track down all of the bones and make sure that all of his father, his grandfather, whatever, like, let's get rid of these things.
Yeah.
They're too dangerous. He could do this crazy thing most people don't know about, and he needs the bones of his father. So if we can eliminate those bones, he won't be able to come back. But I'm thinking most people didn't know about it. Maybe the Riddle household is still a secret. Nobody knows where it is. Especially if Death Eaters are still congregating there and they knew Voldemort would be there. Or maybe the Dark Mark tattoo brand
Like
has a little
calls them.
GPS thing. Like, come on over, boys. Maybe they didn't know where it was to begin with. But I don't know.
Do you think that Voldemort is a secretive person?
I thought so,
No.
but now I don't.
I don't.
The way he talked about it, it's like he's laying it all out there.
Because he's very prideful. I feel like it's like I can control anyone, so I'll just lay it all out.
Yeah.
Even
There's some
with
secrets
Harry.
or there's some things that he says that seem secretive that we'll talk about. We'll try to break down what those mean. But do you think that he would, I mean, he's kind of told at least these 30 people in this
Right.
place a little bit of his backstory. But for them, like you, do you think he's told these people the specific details of how it happened? Like who his mother was truly? Because we don't know that stuff yet. We're just guessing. Do you think he would go into those kind of details? Do you think he would tell them
Maybe
exactly
not.
where it happened, all that
His
kind of
most
stuff?
faithful servant, maybe.
Yeah. Great point. Yeah. Seriously.
But I don't know about everyone. Because why would he be saying it anyway? He wouldn't be sharing this now if they all knew about it.
Yeah, you're kind of right. Maybe this is a big reveal for all of his Death Eater people. And they're like, whoa, we're finally learning where all this happened and what's going on here.
And then Lucius Malfoy wants to really know how he did what he did for Harry to end up there. But I guess that's a separate thing because he hasn't been alive really.
Yeah.
So
but they're still all asking questions about who he is. So there's airs of secrecy. He doesn't need to make some of this stuff secret. Like he just will outright say it. But I think there's little notes of secrecy that he has to himself that only maybe like his inner circle of his most devoted servant really knows. Maybe his most devoted servant doesn't even know.
But then he said something along the lines like everyone seemed to know that I mean, that could be more of a vocal thing, not his like personal story. But like how he had put all these different notions, or what the word I want? Like he won't die because he has set everything apart of like all these special spells to make sure, and potions or whatever. I don't even know how to describe this, but that he can't die. And like, how does no one actually believed me?
Yeah.
But they saw me do this. And I find that like he was finding that comical of like,
that's when we're going to talk about.
How do they not believe me when they
he
knew
goes,
that I did all that?
who've gone further than anybody on the steps to making myself immortal or immortality or something like that. We'll talk about that because that's a really interesting line and how he actually is doing that. And if he's keeping this as a secret or if everyone knows how he's doing this kind of thing to make himself immortal.
Right. It feels like his people don't fully believe him.
Yeah.
Like these guys are loyal-ish, but not as loyal as the person who went to Azkaban with Crouch's son. They were like so confident. They're like, Voldemort's coming back, and when he does, we're going to get rescued and we're going to be restored and you're all going to be sorry. But nobody else seems to be quite that confident. Everyone else like was hedging their bets, had backup plans, which is weird.
What are your guys' initial impressions of Voldemort right now? We've talked about that a bit with the secrecy and who he is kind of like just uses people, but is he more or less sinister than you thought he was going to be? Or just about
more sinister than I thought.
I would say I would lean on that a little bit too, like a little more, especially to like his servant, like Wormtail. I'm like, ooh, the way he treats him.
Yeah.
Rough.
After I feel like he did a lot of sacrificing.
Yeah. And the only one who came to look for him.
Yes.
And he's still treating him like garbage, letting him sit there in pain.
I'm surprised he didn't like actually Crucio on everyone that like showed up. Like Wormtail is the only one that found me. Shame on all of you, and like hurt all of them for like a decent amount of time.
It feels like all of his people, his servants, they're all scared of him. Like they're all on edge. They show up because they don't like, it's fear. It's just ruling out of fear. But it was also kind of cool to see that fear, not like cool in a good way, but like now I understand why people are so loyal to him and so dark, because maybe they want immortality as well. They want power. And this power is like a new level I didn't really think about.
Yeah.
Like defeating death, like that kind of immortality. Like,
or even having like the hand that Wormtail has.
yeah,
that
things
can,
like that. We haven't seen
things.
stuff like that yet.
That was my next question. Have we seen that kind of magic? Yeah. And we haven't. There's nothing really that we've seen that's kind of like remotely close to that in these books.
Because it's all dark. Like I feel like you have to sacrifice something good or pure to gain that kind of power. Which makes me, never mind. We'll probably get there. All the ghosts that came out of his wand, I'm like, yeah.
He's holding them. They're part of his power.
Yeah. He's like holding them captive. Maybe that's why they can't become ghosts or something. We'll get there. But this is one of the things that, this is a crippling, creepy line that Voldemort says. You ask for forgiveness. I do not forgive. I do not forget. 13 long years. I want 13 years for payment before I forgive you. Wormtail here has paid some of his debts already. Have you not, Wormtail? Terrifying. Like, he has all these followers come to him.
I just don't understand why they would put it, like, why raise him up? It just seems so ridiculous.
I know.
Didn't they learn enough from him and they could just do their own thing?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think so. It feels like they could never unite under someone else. Like this isn't like a gang or the mob where someone else fills in. Like who's next in line, who's going to take over. It feels like when he fell, they all scattered. Nobody could fill his shoes. Still don't know why. But when he fell, Yeah, cut off the head of the snake, the body dies.
But I find it interesting so Dumbledore and Voldemort are like the same level.
I love that they shuddered when Dumbledore's name came up. Like Dumbledore is the one who shall not be named for them. That's great.
In a way, yeah.
There's like fun. There's a really funny note in this too when he is like talking about how he is the single greatest wizard of all time. And in the back of my head, I'm like, everyone else thinks Dumbledore is, so that's why you're like, saying that. He's on like a little pride trip. He's like
great.
One other podcast, a Harry Potter podcast that I listen to, they say this in like a crude sort of way, but one of the guys goes, somebody here, say Dumbledore's name. I dare you. And he goes, I dare you, MFers. Say Dumbledore's name. I'm like, that's what he's kind of doing. He's like, say his name. I dare you. And I will destroy you here. In
MFers? I love that.
I bleeped your curse word in the other one.
Oh, thank you. I mean, my curse words are very like PG, but
yeah, we don't bleep our British curse words.
yeah.
American.
Only American curse words. Sorry, you Brits. Here's an interesting question from someone in our chat too. From Calvin, actually. Do you think we've talked about this in the first book and even in the second one, how it seems like it seems like Dumbledore has kind of led Harry to this point, especially in the first book. It seems like, like he went away and he came back at the perfect timing, but he almost wanted him to do it. Like he was leading them to all these clues so that he did this. Same thing in the Prisoner of Azkaban. He led him to like kind of free Buckbeak and Sirius. Do you think that there is any part in Dumbledore that purposely, maybe he knew everything that was going on, but he purposely let things happen so Harry would be at this graveyard doing this?
Oh.
Do you think it was for Dumbledore, it was necessary for Voldemort to rise?
I don't think so. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think so at the moment. That's not how I read it. And even when I thought more about it, I was like,
but
I don't think.
Do you think it's, well, I kind of agree with you, but I'm thinking on another side. Could it be that this is like Dumbledore's like, okay, I actually know how to kill him now. So let's make him
bring him back,
come back,
we can get rid of him,
and then we can actually get rid of him instead of him.
That would be the only thing that would make sense. Like he's like, look, we can't get rid of Voldemort. He's got too many backup plans. This whole like weird thing that he can bring himself back or whatever that is. Dumbledore knows about. He says we have to bring him back. It's a necessary evil. We'll take care of him once and for all. And maybe he's got some plan. Sure. But something about the way Dumbledore was running down to the forest when Crouch was there and Crumb when they found him unconscious. That whole thing felt more, not panicky. Dumbledore was still composed, but it felt like he was realizing things were not fully in his control. What?
No, it's because as we're talking, I keep changing my mind. I'm like, I know who it is. I still like my moody thing.
That's a good one.
So you don't think that Dumbledore kind of set him to be on this little path? You don't think that he put him here in this moment for this reason? Like he's not, because I mean, if he did that, would Dumbledore essentially be like almost offering Harry as a sacrifice here? Or do you think that he knows that Harry would conquer over Voldemort again and like Voldemort really can't touch him?
Well, he sees it. I don't know how he does it, but it seems like he already knows what's going to happen. So maybe he saw like that Harry would survive this in, what is it, a duel?
Yeah.
And be fine.
And if he saw that, then
other
it's okay.
people are dying though.
Yes.
Cedric died.
Yeah, like that's
that
the part
would
that I'm
be,
like, that's so weird.
Unless that's not like what he saw, and then that was an added
To Cedric.
To Cedric.
Anytime we mention his name in the books now, we need to go to Cedric.
Yeah. Cedric, rest in peace.
Sorry, Jen, keep going.
I forgot.
I feel like we always do that to you.
No, but you're right. Like, because then I'm thinking if Dumbledore knew that Harry had to do this, I don't know how seeing the future works. Are you seeing multiple possibilities of what could happen? Or are you seeing the one thing that will happen no matter what you do? So if you're seeing the one thing that will happen, then doesn't matter what Dumbledore does or doesn't do because it's going to happen anyway. If there are multiple possibilities, then it seems too risky to like not interfere. He's seeing one of his students that he's in charge of. Dumbledore is responsible for Cedric's safety, and Cedric gets killed. In my mind, currently there's no excuse for that. If he knew that was coming and didn't do something to prevent it, like, I don't think there's any excuse for that.
But you think you can see, like, I guess in my mind, I'm like, okay, he could see Harry's ending up in the graveyard.
Yeah.
But he doesn't see, like, maybe Harry, because he has whatever that spell is that he, right? They said, Voldemort saying that Dumbledore has some kind of spell to protect Harry. So maybe he can only see what Harry does and nothing really outside. Everything else is cloudy, but he can like see.
Like he was so focused on Harry that he didn't see the Cedric part of it.
Right. So then Cedric, you don't like anything on the side. I feel like or even like Ron and Hermione, he doesn't see that they're at like helping out with the Chamber of Secrets. He's only seeing. And so he's fine with that like playing out. Yeah. And then he starts to realize.
So the line that you're talking about, Dumbledore invoked an ancient magic to ensure the boy's protection as long as he is in his relation's care. Not even I can touch him there.
I know, that was crazy.
So Privet Drive is a weird fortress now all of a sudden, a magical fortress. He's protected.
But then in all the other books too, I'm thinking like Sorcerer's Stone, no wonder he didn't really like he was like, yeah, go have fun, Harry. You're not going to get...
Have a good summer. You're safer there than here. Go.
Wait, what?
Well, I was thinking back while he's back home.
Oh, I wasn't thinking that.
Oh, what were you thinking?
I was thinking when he was at school with the Chamber of Secrets, the Sorcerer's Stone.
Literally at school.
Literally like doing all those challenges. He's like, well, no one can touch you, so just go.
You were thinking even at school he was safe. But it said while he was near his relation's care, right?
I thought it was Dumbledore. I thought Dumbledore was his relation's care.
Oh, I was thinking the Dursleys.
Why?
Because they're his relatives.
Oh, I mean, that's a good idea.
And then, but I also didn't know if it was love based because there's not a lot of love protection in the Dursley household. But there'd be a lot of love protection with the Weasleys.
So what are you saying?
I just didn't know if the spell, like whatever this ancient magic is, Voldemort thinks it's about him being near his relations. Under his relation's care. But I'm wondering if Dumbledore knows more than Voldemort about ancient magic. And it really wasn't about that.
I think he does. Because he keeps saying that he keeps forgetting about this ancient magic.
Right, which was
and
bizarre.
Then I'm thinking,
Voldemort's
what
like,
is
I should have
that?
thought of that one. Whoops.
What's the modern versus ancient? Like, I don't...
So,
they don't...
Yeah, that's a great question.
They don't teach the ancient anymore?
Yeah, honestly, because some of this, like, it's kind of comical, but some of this stuff does seem like it's ancient magic. Like the idea of you take, bone from the father. They're not in like... spells 101 at Hogwarts. They're not teaching bone of the father. You'll renew your son.
If you did 1,000 things perfect before and then you die, you can be brought back with this certain thing. Like,
yeah, but I bet you what's the ghost guy that's the professor and was teaching all this and everyone's just sleeping.
Yeah. That's true. Binns is teaching dark magic in his class and everyone just falls asleep.
And ancient magic and they're just like, la la.
So with even this protection that is with Harry's relations, whoever his relations are, we just talked about how we haven't seen magic that Voldemort is doing right now, and it's like ancient, sometimes dark magic. Have we seen this kind of magic that is happening with Harry being protected with his relations?
I feel like that was his mom and him.
Okay.
Especially if his mom is a muggle.
Yeah.
In my mind, ancient magic is the magic that made muggles realize magic was a thing. Like the stuff that like we almost experience, like that feeling you get when you're around people that you love and where you just feel safe. It's like in my mind, that's what this ancient magic is. Like Harry was safe in so many ways he didn't even realize when his mom was there because of how much his mom loved him, and that protected him in her death.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking it's the same
Dumbledore's vibe. That's what I'm trying to think. Like
his ancient magic.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was along those same lines because Voldemort is saying while he's under his relation's care, we can't touch him because of this ancient magic that Dumbledore knows about.
So
I was thinking that was more about love and emotion and bloodlines and family and things like that.
That's so interesting because I thought totally different.
So you were thinking Dumbledore's care, like Dumbledore is his relation, his like someone who cares about him or loves him? Or was it not about love at all? It was just about Dumbledore put the magic in place
Well, it's like
to protect him.
I don't know. I guess I took it more as
Sorry, we're getting so many funny, great comments online right now. So sorry. I'll just keep your thoughts.
oh yeah, interrupt Jen every
I'm
time. But
sorry.
Danny can talk forever. It's fine.
Go ahead, Jen.
No,
I'll interrupt you after. Do you remember what you're going to say? I'm sorry.
I don't
I'm so
remember.
bad.
Just go.
All right, the podcast is over, everyone. Someone said Voldemort cares so much about their education that he waits till at the end of the school year to strike. It's like a meme that goes on. At the end of every school year, he's like, okay, let them finish school, let them get done. All right,
Wait,
they're done.
who is
They're done
this,
with finals.
Voldemort?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's attack.
Actually, you're right. It has been
That's
every
funny.
time. That's pretty
Did
right.
you remember what you were saying, Jen?
No.
I'm not going to.
No, you're talking about the relational magic, ancient magic that Dumbledore put in place. So you're thinking Dumbledore put something in place for Harry, even while he's at Hogwarts. So all the stuff that's been happening in the books we've read, Harry's been so safe because of what Dumbledore put in place. Like
I feel like he's like the adopted like parent. Like, okay.
Okay.
Well, also because of who he is, right? He's the most, it seems as though he's the most powerful wizard now in modern day because he was able to defeat or deflect or whatever Voldemort as a baby because of the spell around him.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, okay, Dumbledore is the most powerful wizard, we're saying, on the good side.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to protect like the heir of that in a way, like an adoptive son, even though he doesn't necessarily act like a father, maybe. Kind of he does. But it's the good side and he's powerful. I'm going to keep him and protect him.
Right.
And we're going to raise him this way to like protect the rest of the wizarding world against the dark magic.
Yeah, that kind of does make sense. I definitely could see why you would go that direction.
And then I feel like that's probably why he doesn't care. Remember when he was off to like
Going off to London.
London it was, right? And then not, because like I'm thinking, okay, he has his protection spell on Harry and he doesn't necessarily maybe need to be there. And then Hogwarts maybe it doesn't add to it, but maybe it does.
But no, maybe it could, because even like the idea I'm thinking of like of Peeves being a collective energy of the students. Again, in my mind, this is feeding into an idea that collective anything matters. So Hogwarts is collectively a place of love and learning and competition and good. And Durmstrang would be maybe the opposite of that. So in Hogwarts, I think there would be an energy or actual ancient magic along these lines of protection. And if love amongst students and houses and teachers and whatever, if that can protect people, then Hogwarts is maybe the safest place. It's the first time we maybe actually said it's safe. But if we're talking about ancient magic that might be based around emotion, then maybe it actually is. Maybe that's why Dumbledore didn't have to worry. Ugh. I mean, we've also watched students like die. Well, Cedric wasn't at Hogwarts, so that's different. But the Portkey was created there. Ginny almost died, but she didn't. And then poor Moaning
But then I'm
Myrtle.
like, maybe that's why. Well, I mean, Dumbledore can only see Harry's line about everything he does.
Okay, yeah,
Ginny
right. That's how it kind of
isn't
started.
around.
Right, back.
I
to
don't know.
Harry. No, you're right.
It
It just still feels weird though, because if Dumbledore's making all his decisions just on Harry, even if Harry's the chosen one, I mean, he does have a series of books named after him.
It does.
It just seems silly though to like.
Neville's really the chosen. Come on.
Yeah, but it seems silly to then say like, all right, good. As long as Harry's safe, we don't mind. Like, even if other students die in the process, that feels pretty intense.
Yeah, no.
I don't think Dumbledore would even risk it if he didn't know everyone else was also safe.
Oof,
That's interesting. Like the idea of community magic being strong. I think that is a big theme of this book too. Even with love, community magic within how you love another person, that is very strong. And there's a charm that we've seen in you put your trust in another person.
Oh yeah,
the Fidelius charm. Do you think that is what maybe let's just even bypass if we think that is or not. If the Fidelius charm is what is keeping Harry safe, who is a secret keeper for that?
Right.
This might sound wild. Could it be the Dursleys? And does that change your opinion of who the Dursleys are? If the Dursleys are Harry's secret keeper and they're unwilling to, they might abuse him, but they're unwilling to give him up.
And
I
that's why
can't
they send him
picture
a
that at
Christmas
all.
present every year.
Yeah.
I have a hard time picturing it because they've just been so mean.
Yeah.
But in a weird way, the meanness shows love. Ugh, love is they care something a little bit.
There's some kind of care there.
There's something.
I wouldn't call it care.
Yeah, care might be too hard. They feel a kind of way. Like they're like, oh man, if Harry dies, who are we going to make fun of? I don't know. I'm not sure. But well, maybe I'm just thinking like, oh man, sometimes like some of the really good, like the high school movies, you know, the bullies, you want to see them come around. You want to see them turn good in the end. And even their bullying is just misdirected. So then at some point you're like, oh, there's still hope for them. I don't know. Could there be hope for the Dursleys? I have a hard time picturing it. But maybe. And who would have the Fidelius for Harry?
Yeah.
Why not Dumbledore himself?
Yeah. Could Dumbledore be the secret keeper?
What about Hagrid?
But also Harry's just roaming around
gets
free.
drunk
This would
and
be
he
advanced.
spills everything.
He's done.
Hagrid's like, a dragon? I'm in. Here's Harry's.
He's the key. Here's the key.
McGonagall.
But it felt to me like
That's why they were together. Dumbledore and
Grandma
McGonagall.
and
Grandma McGonagall.
That would kind of make sense because she was like guarding him.
Turns out she's actually Voldemort's mom, though.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she didn't die in childbirth.
oh my
You're
goodness.
going to set another McGonagall theory out there.
No,
Go
I don't
for
think
it.
she's old enough to be Voldemort's mom.
Poor McGonagall. I found
But I
out a
don't know.
theory of. I'm sorry.
So pivoting on this point just a little bit, he has this line that I want to talk about for a few different reasons. He goes, and then I ask myself, but how could they have believed I would not rise again? They, who knew the steps I took long ago to guard myself against mortal death. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. And the second thing he goes, they who had seen proofs of my immense power in the times when I was mightier than any wizard living. So that's the funny part where he's like, I'm talking about any wizard living, if any of you say Dumbledore's name. So help me God. But what are these steps that he took to protect himself against mortal death? How does a wizard actually do that? And to some of your guys' points, is this what people are after? Is this why he's attracting a following?
I kind of think so. Yeah.
I feel like he somehow splits himself up into all different like materials. Like he was in the diary.
We said that, yeah, when we were talking about the diary,
then-
right?
I'm not sure what else he could be in, but I feel like you can somehow split up your soul.
And that's back when we were thinking he accidentally put part of himself in Harry, and that's why he needed Harry specifically, because he wanted like the piece of himself he left in Harry, maybe, or like something along those lines. But then I started thinking more of the practical side, like he took steps to just secure his own father's grave and buy his parents' home under an LLC, you know? So if it was that simple, like he just took steps to prepare by securing the Riddle household and making sure he could access his father's grave if he ever needed to do this whole bone of the father crazy thing, spell, I guess. But if he did do other steps, you're saying pieces of himself?
I don't know how, but
Like downloading himself into other diaries around, but like not just memories, more like clones of himself, maybe?
I feel like just like pieces of his soul somehow.
Pieces of his soul, of his essence, like the same bit that is captured, that he has captured of others in his wand. He's taken his own essence and
Casted it on other
put
things.
it somewhere, hid it somewhere.
But how would you divide yourself up? That's what I don't get. But he's also
Yeah.
creating his own potion stuff. Remember, he like mentioned something in this chapter, like something that I create, like of my own
Yeah.
creation or something like that.
And that's why like he's at that level of Dumbledore. Like Dumbledore is doing this research, finding the uses of Dragonheart. You know, like Voldemort is at that level too. He's like, I'm past the stuff that I can learn from others. I'm having to like blaze my own trail here. And maybe that's where this started. He found things he didn't expect to find. And he's like, oh, whoa, I didn't know this was possible. Maybe nobody knows this is possible.
Yeah, because no one
But I
would
could be
sacrifice people, and he would.
Right. You're right. He's willing to do more than anyone else is willing to do to find new things.
I don't think he cares about anything.
Just to get
then
clarity,
what?
how do you split your soul?
This is for you to answer, John.
Split your soul. How would you split your soul?
Dark magic. That's my answer.
What is the dark magic that you can split your soul with, though?
I don't even know regular spells, John. How am I going to know that? I can't. I need my key to differentiate what spells what.
Oh my gosh.
Split the soul.
Well, he's taking like unicorn blood, which makes you live like forever, right? Or like immortal blood. And then he's combining it with, what was the other thing? What did he do? Oh, and then snake venom. And he's mixing it together to make him disgusting human body. Or a body, I shouldn't say. Human.
Huh.
He's snake unicorn man.
Snake unicorn
Wizard.
Man. Yeah, I don't know.
Unicorn man.
Have we seen anything that we could, where someone's getting split?
What if he came up and he had a horn when he was resurrected? He's like, darn it, I don't want this.
I did not account for this part.
On his head?
Yeah.
Relax. Jen.
Just spice it up.
Did you guys expect Lucius was the originator of the Quidditch World Cup fiasco? Did you expect him to be a Death Eater?
Yeah, I knew
I
he was
thought
a
he was
Death
going to be
Eater.
involved somehow.
Yeah, right?
I was like surprised when Voldemort's like, you ran away. It's like, wait, what? He like he wasn't involved. He all like, he steered clear of the whole thing. That was weird.
I feel like it was so public though, that he wasn't ready.
And right.
Like he's like, wait, we're coming out of hiding now?
guys.
Running.
So I knew it was a possibility because it was sloppy. I mean, let's just face it. The whole mark was sloppy. It didn't make sense. And Voldemort
it
even
could
kind of
come
was
from
saying
like a
that,
youngin',
right?
What?
I
A
said
youngin'.
a death mark, that Death Eater's mark. It seems kind of amateur.
Yeah.
Draco's like,
someone
my
young.
dad's going to look at me now. He'll be proud of me finally.
Kid Drake will be
No.
the most devoted servant of the Dark
He
Lord.
doesn't know anything. There's no way.
Yeah, he does not seem like he knows much.
I have a
He
new
could have done
theory
the mark,
now.
but I don't think he's the most devoted servant.
I just want to say it.
So let's talk about that. So this is the line that I think we need to discuss for a while. And here we have 6 missing Death Eaters. 3 dead in my service. 1, too cowardly to return. He will pay. 1 who I believe has left me forever. He will be killed, of course. And 1 who remains my most faithful servant and who has already re-entered my service. Who are these people?
I think the one that's too cowardly is Crockpot. Let's just go
Crockpot?
with that. I cannot say his name.
So he's a cowardly one.
Yep. And then I'm going to say Snape will never return again because Dumbledore and him have this trust bond, which we don't know about.
Okay, so he's going to be killed.
And then I was between 3 still. Bagman, Crouch, and Crumb.
Okay.
But after discussing and our little thing here, I think it's Crumb. I
Why is
think
that?
Really?
because it's making sense now because he quickly caught. I mean, this was my theory, so of course I'm going to go that way. But I feel like he caught the snitch super. Like, remember, we're like, why would he even catch it to end the game?
Yeah.
He caught it, and then we're saying it was a very chaotic thing, and I feel like he's young. When I heard that Crabbe and Goyle are Death Eaters and they're young, I was like, oh, okay, now
Wait,
Crumb.
I'm assuming this is their parents.
Yeah, time out.
Wait, what?
That's a great point.
Crabbe and Goyle maybe didn't even exist when Voldemort was coming to power the first
Well,
time.
you're right,
They
but
would be
why
like
were
2
they in
years
it?
old.
Wait, that I read it wrong?
It was their dads.
Oh.
So that's the really tough thing. That was a great catch though, because a lot of people were confused about that point initially. They were like, "Wait, Crabbe and Goyle were in the stands, and then all of a sudden they're like in in
Right. Right. They just disappear
whatchamacallit?
from the
Yeah,
stands. Well, only because they go by their last names.
Yeah.
So the Crabbe and Goyle, those are last names.
Malfoy
so this
is his
their
last name.
parents.
Wow.
Well,
that's
it's the
just
only way that it could
registered
be.
now.
Or it could actually be them, but if it was, they're not the same age. They're like faking their age to be
Which
in.
is what we said Crumb would be a super
30-year-old
senior.
Yeah, just hanging out, pretending to be dumber
didn't
than
we
they
say
are. so
that?
they
Do you
can
think
hang with
they've been
Malfoy.
taking polyjuice potions this whole time to disguise themselves as two like 13, 14-year-old boys?
Well, honestly,
and
that
then-
was my first thought. And then I was like, no, Harry and Ron would have noticed. Imagine that. You pick a hair off someone thinking they're in high school. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm 50?
Yeah, what happens
just
when you
happened?
polyjuice potion someone who's already polyjuiced?
That would be nuts, right?
Well, I don't know. What happens, John?
But that's a great point, though. That, excuse me, brings me back to my first read because I thought it was Crabbe and Goyle on my first read too. I remember reading that even right now, and I was like, yeah, it could be easy to confuse who these people are.
Yep. It was very unclear, but I like after processing all the possibilities, I'm like, I feel like if it was Crabbe and Goyle that we know, they would have like addressed it more
But-
clearly. I hope.
All right. My second thing
Yeah.
was that Crumb literally was like killing off all of the other wizards in
In the final
Final.
test, the third Triwizard.
So I'm
thing.
like,
yeah.
obviously he wants, I'm thinking Harry and him to be the end. So that would also make sense for it to be him. Crouch and Bag. I feel like Bagman was the easy one to pin it on, but I don't think it's actually him.
So if it was Crumb, then again, we've got an age issue because he would have been, if he's his real age, he would have been way too young. Even if he's a seventh year, we could assume he's 17.
But he went to
would be so
Durmstrang.
young.
Whatever the school
Yeah.
is. So I feel, but
He
what
might have done an age.
but what about his
thing.
parents? I mean, they didn't mention Crumb.
And
We don't know Crumb's parents, do we?
I'm going to put just one little note in this too. Would Hermione be so foolish to have dated someone who is the Dark Lord's most devoted servant? Could she be duped?
Oh,
Like
she
that.
could be duped.
Yeah, I think so.
Lockhart got her, and Crumb's about to get her. Just come visit me
Crumb's
in
not a
Albania
looker.
or
That's-
Bulgaria.
there's the difference.
you're
Lockhart was a
right.
looker. Crumb is not a looker. Unless Hermione's into the goth.
Crooked nose Crumb. I don't know.
Is
then
Hermione
it-
most attracted to
The
The
fame?
only thing
it
is, it
not
said like he
necessarily-
was going to be there, but I guess anyone in the Ministry of Magic was going to be there too, right?
I think
Station at Hogwarts.
Yeah,
What
but-
did you think?
I honestly didn't know who his three were because every time I was playing through who the three would be, it didn't really make full sense. Like we're missing too many pieces. I'm like, I'm not ready to condemn any as being the three. And because I genuinely don't know if Crouch is still alive. So I'm like, Crouch could be dead right now.
Where would he be dead?
Well, I was just thinking after he disappeared
He's
from the
Mad-Eye
forest.
Moody.
He was gone. Okay, yeah, right. So if he's moody, great, that's cool. But like, how did he go from crazy to moody? That's the part that I still don't get.
But
either.
then that's the other thing that I was like, that makes sense because Crumb could have actually sent Crouch to, but then he didn't come out of the wand. So I don't think he's dead. I feel like he's not dead because he would have come out of the wand.
if Voldemort killed him,
Who else would have killed him?
Crumb or any of the other devoted
See,
servants.
and that's what I'm
Not
saying. I think
most devoted,
Crumb
but-
could have done something to Crouch. I don't know. I'm not really solid on
Yeah,
anything,
I'm
but
so
as we were
unsure
talking,
about all the
I was
details.
like, Crumb, Crouch, Bagman.
I'm also wondering
Or do you have another
because
person?
if Crumb is bad, then this whole thing about Hermione was all a strategy to get close to her to like get something.
Yeah.
And why invite her to Bulgaria in the summer when he knew all this Triwizard stuff was going to go down now?
You have to play the part, Danny. Come on.
I guess, but that just seems like too advanced. Or Rita Skeeter was involved too.
He also could have attacked
and Rita
Harry when
was
they were
going to
one-on-one.
knock Hermione down a couple pegs, make her feel ugly and unwanted.
Could it be her?
Just in time for Crumb to swoop in and say, I've been in the library every day.
There's
so I
no
got a big old
female
crush on
Death
you."
Eaters. I just realized. Is
No, there are because the one who got sent to prison with Crouch's son.
Is
remember her
she a
name?
Death Eater though?
Yeah, she is
Yeah.
because she's the couple. It was a couple. So they're married. They're,
And there was this woman
or something.
in the trial who had tortured the Longbottoms.
Yeah.
So that might be the same
That's
person.
who
It
I
might
was
be.
thinking
It
of,
might be
okay.
the Lestranges. It's a couple. So it might be the same people because it might be the Lestranges, Crouch's son, and then maybe just another random person.
But not as many women.
Yeah.
Women have less evil in them, I suppose.
They're
Dumbledore's a little
smarter,
sexist.
I think.
That's why we really don't like to be sexist.
Women do murder less people statistically. So
Well.
Yeah. Women ask more questions too. Voldemort would not like that.
it's true.
This
Wait, so you don't have any? You can't even name the other two? I feel like that was so obvious. The other two.
What other two?
Maybe I'm wrong. The coward and the one that will never come back.
Wait. So it's coward,
Yeah.
one who will.
one who is too cowardly,
Yeah.
one who has abandoned him forever, and one who's his most devoted servant. We don't know who the most devoted servant is.
And these are the only three we have to account for, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because three of them, he said there's missing spots, 3 are dead.
There's
Yeah.
only 6 spots
Yeah.
that are or 6 that
Yeah.
are missing. 3 are dead.
Which
And
he is
three-
wrong about because people are in Azkaban right now. So I guess the Death Eaters are
They're not
like
dead,
taking
though.
away spots because they're not dead.
I don't know.
So there's probably more than 6 people who are Death Eaters missing, but some of them are locked up in Azkaban right now.
Yeah, and he didn't count those, like the spots
Yeah.
that he skipped over. At first, I was like counting people to try and see if it was
Danny's
like a set amount.
13? Are they eating a meal?
But then I like got to a certain amount, and he's like, and a bunch of others that Voldemort skipped over. I'm like, all right, great. Well, now I don't know anything. Yeah, I don't.
You can't
think-
peg the other.
I can't peg him because I don't know what happened to Crouch after the forest. And I don't know if Moody, because the part that confuses me is the one who's never going to return. So Dumbledore converted somebody.
I really hope it's Snape. Otherwise, my whole theory
I was
is right.
thinking it was Moody, and then Moody was actually bad, but then he spent time with Dumbledore finally back
Moody?
at Hogwarts. Yeah, and then I was like, oh, and
Where are you
Dumbledore won
pulling
him
this
over.
from?
Well, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking of all the people it could be. So somebody was evil, was loyal to Dumbledore or loyal to Voldemort, and is now good. Maybe he's never going to return. Why would
you
you
don't
never
think
return?
it's Snape?
I think Snape's more likely to be the most devoted servant, the person stationed at Hogwarts back before this whole school year.
Because he says he is at Hogwarts, that faithful servant, and it was through his efforts that our young friend arrived here tonight.
So
I know, but that at first I thought that too, and then I changed my mind because he doesn't. Where is the line? Because
Well,
it's
we'll
saying
find
that
it.
he's there. I'm thinking it's like a temporary. He's there, stationed now.
Stationed now,
Not-
but at the beginning of the year, like it would have to be Snape or Moody, right?
Or
Because
Crumb.
Crumb arrived later. What was that? November.
No, the school year. They all
Yes.
came in the school year. But you're saying Crumb's too young. Why?
No. I'm saying just Crabbe and Goyle. I think you could be right, but Crabbe and Goyle are the parents here, not the actual students of Crabbe and Goyle. Same thing with Malfoy. And someone mentioned on our chat too. Calvin mentioned on our chat, which is an interesting point. They're all called by their last names, and they seem to call other people by their last names. Like Harry doesn't call Ron Weasley or Hermione Granger.
Yeah, you're right.
It's only like Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle who call them Potter, Weasley, and Granger. They only call them by their
Why?
last names. I don't know. It's like an interesting note in that Voldemort calls them by their last names. Maybe it's just like a little habit that Voldemort has had. Doesn't really call them by their first names, and then it kind of carries off.
And it kind of makes sense with the Voldemort thing. He's all
Yeah.
about bloodlines. He's
Yeah.
all about families.
Yeah.
He's all about like where you came from.
He's all about the family that stays together. He doesn't even have a family. It's all about that's a weird note.
So, Kristen, after an hour and a half of silence, you have some things to say?
I'm good.
How's the
Crocheting.
knitting coming? Oh, yes, crocheting. Sorry.
Everyone, I need to
Knitting's
show
a
you this
curse
incredible
word.
thing Kristen knitted. Can I show them?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Everyone online.
goodness.
I'm gonna show you something real quick. And if you're listening to this
Wow, what a sneak
later
peek.
when I edit it, but go watch this. Check this out. I gotta hold it up to Obi.
That is epic.
We got Weasley jumpers, baby. Let's go.
This book.
I'm so excited.
Brilliant. That is sick.
Kristen is knitting us, crocheting us Weasley jumpers.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
I don't know if I've ever gotten a gift this great.
That is so awesome.
They're fun to make.
Okay. Let me figure this out.
All right, let me read through any notes I missed. Actually, I probably definitely missed a bunch. But
Yeah, there's so much in these chapters. I have a few more questions in this chapter, but
wait, is McNair the one who was going to execute Buckbeak?
yeah, because he says you've been executing other things, other creatures. Now you'll be able to execute, like
It's funny
my orders or
that
whatever he
those
says.
people we didn't like or thought were evil already are like, yeah, good. I'm glad I didn't like him.
I know. I didn't like him for a reason. What a jerk.
I got great instincts with people.
And then he talks about Dementors who will join us. They're natural allies.
Yep.
We will call the banished giants.
And the Giants is a curveball too.
I know.
I'm like, shoot. Again, it's like one of those things that the people or the critters that you think are bad, like kind of are. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason people don't like giants, because Voldemort does like them.
Yes.
I'm like, oh goodness, no wonder people are a little bit like weird, because they have a natural alliance with Voldemort, assuming they're like along the lines of Dementors.
But they're weird though, because they don't like giants. They banish them, but they have Dementors guarding their prisoners.
So weird.
like
And that's the
so
inconsistency.
hypocritical.
And that's what it's that kind of
Wait.
stuff that makes me think people like Crouch and Bagman and Fudge can't be trusted,
Yeah.
because the Ministry is keeping people that have natural alliances with Voldemort too close.
I don't know what you were saying, but I was just thinking the Dementors
Yeah,
guarding
exactly.
Azkaban.
Yep.
And their alliance is with Voldemort.
Right. So
Yep.
Voldemort just
That
has to be
is
like,
so
all right,
stupid.
join me now. And they're like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. And we'll set all your boys free. Done.
Easy breakout. Yeah.
Makes no sense.
I know.
But maybe that alliance isn't known to people yet. Well, now Harry knows.
Well, he thought he was going to kill Harry, which
Right,
is
so
why I
he's
think
sharing
this is
maybe a little
interesting, 'cause
more.
now he's got a few secrets that he could take away with him.
Yeah, seriously. He's revealing a little too much here. There's this one really dense paragraph. I'm going to read this to you. Because I want you to try to figure out what questions this is answering and what is this leaving for us. He goes, I miscalculated, my friends, I admit. My curse was deflected by the woman's foolish sacrifice, and it rebounded upon myself. Ah, pain beyond pain, my friends. Nothing could have prepared me for it. I was ripped from my body. I was less than spirit, less than the meanest ghost, but still I was alive. What I was, even I do not know. I, who have gone further than anybody along the path that leads to immortality. You know my goal, to conquer death. And now I was tested, and it appears that one or more of my experiments had worked, for I had not been killed, though the curse should have done it. Nevertheless, I was as powerless as the weakest creature alive, and without means to help myself, for I had no body, and every spell that might have helped me required the use of a wand. I remember only forcing myself sleeplessly, endlessly, second by second to exist. I settled in a faraway place, in a forest, and I waited. Surely one of the faithful Death Eaters would try to find me. One of them would come to me and perform the magic that I could not, to restore me to a body. But I waited in vain. What questions has this answered for you guys so far? For like even the beginning of the book kind of stuff, beginning of the entire series kind of stuff.
But we were wondering how he lost his power, Voldemort.
Yeah,
Right.
And it was because I can't say any of these spells ever. The Ava.
Vada Kedavra.
Yep, that one. It ricocheted off his mom and hit him.
Yeah,
Off of
That-
his mom or Harry?
I thought it was his mom protecting. Oh, you think
so
it
his
was
mom
Harry?
was killed, and it seems like it was ricocheted off of Harry.
Oh,
But
sorry.
his mother's love, though.
Yeah,
Which is kind of like at least her
ancient
presence
magic.
or something. Yes, the ancient magic. Okay, yeah.
It's 'cause I'm not
ricocheted.
reading them. That's why I don't know what the names of these things.
And
I'm only listening
bonked
to them.
Voldemort in the dome. It does. I think it was weird to see Voldemort be this vulnerable too. Like he wasn't trying to be like, I'm so powerful, I'm so great.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And he was quick to admit that. I guess he had a lot of time to contemplate what he was going to say. And it's weird. Like what we thought bounced off of Harry and hit him, and he almost died. Like he barely existed. He was
I
less
feel like
than
he
a ghost.
would have died if it wasn't for his experiments that he
Right.
implemented.
Right. And even those, maybe like he didn't have a lot of experience with them, but he tried a few things. Maybe he didn't like do all of the experiments he wanted, but enough to keep him alive.
What the heck are they?
I don't know. But also how many people in history actually have died and come back, you know? Like now he's got more experience with dying and coming back than
Anyone,
right? Like we know Nicholas Flamel was using the Sorcerer's Stone to have a long life, but now Voldemort is like, cool, I see what happened this time. Let me try something else. Like this was his experiment. Now he can try more.
I have one question.
Nice.
He says he didn't have enough power to use his wand because he wasn't an actual body. Where did his wand go? And who got it back to him? Because I'm like, it would have been in Potter's house, right?
Like in the
And
moment, just
Dumbledore and
instant,
Hagrid went to pick up Harry.
just like a pile of robes and a wand sitting in the house.
Well, because he was an essence of whatever soul disgusting thing he was.
Could someone else have been with him though when he got there? My first instinct was Wormtail was with him the whole time because Wormtail told him the secret.
Oh, he did mention something about gave him back his wand, right?
Yeah.
Is that
So
in this?
in my mind,
chapter?
Wormtail was like downstairs or out on the street or in the room with him, just kind of like, do your thing, Voldemort. I'm here to support you. And then like when he disappears, he's like, oopsies.
But then
what? Scabbers has a wand chilling somewhere.
he has two
Ron
wands.
could have had it.
His
Ron had Voldemort's wand chilling in his bedroom.
But he was able to do magic with animals.
Yep.
So he's not a wagadoo. Did I remember it correctly? Whoa.
Yeah, crushing it.
But he knew some of that stuff.
Yeah.
He must have known some of it.
But I thought it didn't work unless you had a wand. Well, we had this
No,
long
He
discussion.
was
not
able to
so
possess their
clear-cut.
bodies, but it was like Wormtail went and talked to other rats, and that was where animals didn't go because Voldemort would possess their bodies.
But he said it wasn't good to do magic. So that means he was doing magic.
So he was, but he couldn't do magic that would completely resurrect him. So he was able to do magic of possessing
But without a
animals' bodies,
wand. How?
like Wagadoo students do. I think like any like child does before they go to Hogwarts. They're able to do magic.
Yes.
but
Yes.
It was like
the wand just
emotions or something.
yeah, like it amplifies it,
Fine.
intensifies it,
I'm
I
trying to
guess.
find like a loophole.
But your question is one of the questions that J.K. Rowling gets asked a lot about how did he actually get his wand? I think the answer to that, I don't know if anybody on chat actually knows that one too. I think the answer to that one that she says is that Wormtail got it. Like
Which
Wormtail
would-
snuck in there after everything happened.
Snuck in. Like he wasn't necessarily
his
there,
rat
but like
form.
he knew what was going. Oh, rat form. Yeah, you're
And
right.
then he took it and then fled because he kind of like knew of things, how things were going. He's like a
Were
resourceful
there
rat.
Were there any things that like people, I mean, she became so famous, right? Is there anything that she missed and she's like, oh shoot, I actually didn't like solve
Honestly,
that?
sometimes when I'm reading this, I
Sometimes.
think that's what's
Yeah.
happening in these books. And she's like, oh yeah, people kept complaining in the first book that Harry's chilling on Privet Drive. Oh yeah, let me throw in a line where Voldemort says ancient magic was protecting him near his
So
relations.
that's a funny point because you think that now as you're reading that, when you get to the
Yep,
end of the book,
I remember you said
will
that.
learn
She
everything that
didn't.
she did plan.
She set it up.
And there are like small loopholes, like that's a loophole, like people say of, oh, how did he get his wand back? And she comes up with good answers to those things that are maybe like outside of the book
The
itself. Like the
text.
books, a little spoiler, the books never really answer how he gets his wand back. But people have asked her that, fans have asked her that. Like you would go to a little Q&A with her and you'd stand up at a mic, Jen, and be like, how did he get his wand back? And she would answer and just say Wormtail snuck in. So she's like filled in the gaps for certain things, but nothing has been explicit. But like some of the stuff that you guys are mentioning that you're like, oh, like she's just making the stuff up as she goes. She couldn't have, because things happen in the future books that like she had to tie together
Answer.
so perfectly. Like I said a while ago, it almost feels like she wrote the 7th book first and then went back.
Whoa.
And like the
Is that how she
level,
did it?
no, I think she knew it perfectly. I think she mapped everything out almost exactly how, and then she just filled in the details.
Wow.
Because the level with which she fills in these details and knows things,
I just want to know how it ends.
it's there's a reason that Harry Potter is beloved. And I mean, this is a question that some people were even asking on our subreddit this morning. But how has her writing progressed? Has it gotten better?
So much better.
Yeah.
It's like genuinely really good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm listening to it. I feel like it's different.
Yeah. Listening is probably a little bit different because Jim Dale kind of plays it up. But her writing, her descriptions,
The descriptions, yeah, they're so good now. She puts me right there. The end, the next
Yeah.
chapter with the fight and
gosh.
everything. I thought it was just so well done.
and so there's an indication
Because
that
you
I
can
have.
actually picture it. Like
Yeah.
so detailed.
Yep.
There's an indication that I have whenever I'm reading that if I like can't process the words because I want to get to the next sentence so badly that sometimes I know that's really good writing, or at least really good storytelling. And
Yes.
I think she's becoming an incredible writer in this sense too, because like these 2 chapters, I couldn't get through them fast enough, but I had to reread them like 2 or 3 times because I was like, I'm trying to get through them so fast because I want to get to the next sentence. I want to get to the next little portion of it. That it's just such good storytelling. She's just fantastic at this.
Her words are chosen so carefully that like it just paints a perfect picture. I was really impressed with these chapters.
And Calvin says that she did have a draft of the last chapter of the last book written as early as the first book's publication.
Oh my
So she did some writing for that.
goodness. That's awesome.
I just want to read.
We're gonna.
One more question for this chapter. After this line, Wormtail would have me use any wizard. Would you not, Wormtail? Any wizard who had hated me, as so many of them still do. But I knew the one I must use. If I was to rise again, more powerful than I had been when I had fallen, I wanted Harry Potter's blood. I wanted the blood of the one who stripped me of my power 13 years ago. For the lingering protection his mother once gave him would then reside in my veins too. Does Lord Voldemort have Lily's protection residing in his blood right now?
Nah,
No.
I don't buy it. First of all, the magic he's referencing is so uncommon and ancient. I don't think he could ever be this familiar. I feel like he's either bluffing directly or just being theatrical, because I don't buy it. Lily did not love Lord Voldemort. So I just don't buy that her love could ever protect him. And even if some of Harry's blood is in him, I don't think his blood is even in him. I think it was just in the potion. This is the kind of stuff nobody has ever done before. This is not a thing that's ever happened. So if Voldemort is saying things like this, he doesn't really know.
Yeah.
He's saying it. He's trying to act cool. He's being confident. Like, it sounds pretty good. It might even be getting in Harry's head, but I just can't picture it. Doesn't make sense. Feels too much.
We'll
like
see.
a love protection, ancient magic. You just steal the person's blood.
Harry
and then
should be
you're
selling his
protected.
blood.
Yeah, like just
Literally millions of galleons for this
Yeah.
little vial of blood that you just down. That'd be gross, but
But then I feel like the duel, it would have been like he already risen. He rose.
he rose again.
I don't want to use that phrase. I forgot what I was going to say.
so they brought him back already.
No. Oh, so if that was the case where he had the protection from Lily,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that's not true, but I'm thinking like whatever Harry did to him, right? They were dueling and like Harry's winning. Like I feel like if Lily's protection thing was actually valid, not that it hurt Voldemort.
Neither one of them could have lost because Lily was protecting both of them.
Well, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, seriously. There was some
Fair,
kind of protection
actually,
that went
yeah.
over. And you have that. Let's actually go to that chapter. If you guys had anything else in this 33,
I don't think so. Still couldn't figure out who it was.
I don't have too many questions in chapter 34, but there's a few things here that I want to note. So very quick, what happens in 34?
Oh, also, Wormtail convinced Bertha Jorkins to accompany him on a nighttime stroll.
I know. I was trying to see that.
So,
too.
Wormtail's
But
got game. I'm just saying.
as a rat or as a human.
As a human, unless Bertha is the other animagus registered properly with her employer.
She's a rat.
And she was ratting out one day and ran
She's
into
the
another
rat
cute
in
Or
the
maybe
rat.
Magic.
she likes
No.
rats.
Yeah. Oh god.
But yeah, she probably has some pet rats. I don't know. But I thought that was funny. I was like, what the? I just didn't picture Wormtail being able to ask a woman on a nighttime stroll.
There's no way. He's been a rat forever.
Well, there is a way.
So.
He did it. Or he just told a certain story to Voldemort about his exploits, but it wasn't quite accurate. He kidnapped her.
He
Someone
did the
says
love
that's why,
potion.
that's why the Marauders kept him around. He was the ultimate wingman.
Yeah.
Oh my.
He didn't have the looks, but he had the moves all the same.
All right, what happens in chapter 34, the Priori Incantatum?
This is the battle, right?
Yeah.
The dueling, yeah.
Yeah. Voldemort versus Harry.
Yeah. They duel. People pop out of the wand. And then maybe he escapes. We'll see.
He definitely does. This is book 4.
Unless the whole book 5, 6, and 7 are in the graveyard. Long dialogue scenes.
That would be a very unfortunate plot and boring.
But there are 2 lines I want to read before we get into interesting. So one is just a case study on Harry, and actually both are kind of case studies on Harry and Voldemort. Voldemort goes, "We bow to each other, Harry," said Voldemort, bending a little, but keeping his snake-like face upturned to Harry. "Come, the niceties must be observed. Dumbledore would like you to show manners. Bow to death, Harry." And then Harry runs away, and he goes, "We are not playing hide and seek, Harry," said Voldemort's soft, cold voice, drawing near as the Death Eaters laughed. "You cannot hide from me. Does this mean you are tired of our duel? Does this mean that you would prefer me to finish it now, Harry? Come out, Harry. Come out and play then. It will be quick. It might even be painless. I would not know. I have never died." Harry crouched behind the headstone and knew the end had come. There was no hope, no help to be had. As he heard Voldemort draw near still, he knew one thing only, and it was beyond fear or reason. He was not going to die crouching there like a child playing hide and seek. He was not going to die kneeling at Voldemort's feet. He was going to die upright like his father. He was going to die trying to defend himself, even if no defense was possible. What does this tell you about Harry and Voldemort's character? What is their defining character quality?
I feel like he fits his house well. Brave.
I was thinking that too. That's very house-like.
The Gryffindor.
Gryffindor, yeah.
I will
Yeah,
actually
bravery
say
and
something.
fear.
I feel like it's ironic because Harry being a child and Voldemort being an adult, I feel like they're swapped. I
In
feel
what
like
sense?
Voldemort is very immature. He's like toying
wow.
with this
True,
child,
yeah.
and Harry, in his reaction, is very mature.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not just gonna I'm gonna stand up.
Yep.
Like I almost know that I'm not gonna win, but I'm still gonna like my father do this. And to me, Voldemort, it made me so mad because I was like, this is a kid that you're doing this to.
Right. So
The
absurd.
pride just grew so much. I feel like it's very immature. And like, I don't know. That makes sense.
No, it does.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, the roles are reversed here. This is an incredibly mature take that Harry has here. And even his ability to fight the Imperious Curse, which is huge. Like, Moody's been able to train him to fight this off.
He doesn't even know how
Much,
he's
maybe.
fighting it
Yeah,
off.
for sure.
It's some
It's
voice
like-
in his head.
I know. That's what I just find interesting. It's like, oh, you're great at this,
Yeah.
but he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
it's just what's happening inside his mind.
When we talk about Harry being a stubborn person too, this might just be attributed to his stubbornness.
So then all of us would be really good at it.
He gets a little voice in the back of his head. He's like, no, I'm not doing that. That's ludicrous. Why would I ever want to do that?
But no, I was just going to say one comment. Mad Eye Moody was like, oh, that's great. You're going to be hard for them to. I forgot what the rest of the line, but
Manipulate or something, or like
that.
yeah, control or something.
You think it was control?
Yeah. So much like good little foreshadowing here.
He just repeats those 3 curses, though.
Yeah.
Voldemort. It's like the 3 illegal ones. I'm just going to go over and over and over again. Like, you have nothing else?
Those are definitely
I mean,
his 3
it's
favorite.
death
What is
one, but-
Harry's favorite curse?
The
Expelliarmus.
It is interesting that Harry is seeking to just disarm and not stun Voldemort.
Moody would be proud.
Yeah, honestly.
But that's the only thing that came to mind. Like, he thought of the
True.
dueling and Snape
Yeah,
and
that was the first thing that
Quirrell,
came
and
to
then
him.
it came to mind, so I might as well use it because it worked.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, could that also be why he disarmed the wand out of Voldemort, but then he disarmed the actual wand where, like, now the spirits were coming out of it?
Ooh.
That's what I was thinking. Where, like, now Cedric
Wow.
and Bertha and all of them were, like, he's disarming the dark magic in the wand to come out.
So if like a disarming spell holds and you're like actually dueling and the things meet, then you're disarming like actual magic that
I don't
happens in the
know.
wand. That's interesting.
That's what I was thinking.
You can come up with some completely original theories here. That's kind of fun.
I'm sure that's not original, but thank you for making me feel good.
But what is actually happening to Harry and Voldemort as they duel? What is a picture that you have in your head of this?
I'm just picturing them both standing opposite with light and sparks everywhere in a dome around them. So nobody else can be in there. It's just like just them. I'm picturing wind and then them both just like, have you ever gone to a fair or something where they've got that machine you grab or like at an arcade and you hold on to it and it zaps you and you try and hold as long as you can.
Yes.
Or that game where you press the thumb and the last person to press it gets zapped. That's what I was picturing, where it's like you're fighting it, but you can fight it for a certain amount of time. And Harry and Voldemort are both just holding onto their wands as it like hurts almost to hold. But they do. With a giant beam of light between them.
Yeah.
No, this is totally random and probably like a spoiler in a way. Not really for you. But I was like, this is so silly. Book 4, is that the most popular movie that's played a lot? Because as I was reading this, I'm starting to get visions of my own visions. And then I'm like, wait, I feel like I've seen this scene multiple times, like in passing, because it's like
flipping channels on TV and you just see it.
Because my like some people in my family really like it and they watch it religiously, but I've never really watched it, just like in passing. And I'm like, wait, I feel like I remember this now. I had zero context of what it was. And I don't even know what happened, but I remember like visualizing this. So I can't even have my own original like
no.
illustration of it.
Yeah. I'll show you the illustrations in this book. You'll get something new from it. I think I'll say this. I think for people who have not read the book, this is one of their favorite movies. And for people who have read the book, this is probably their least favorite movie.
Whoa.
We're going to see some characters.
We're going to really know who knows who read and who watched.
Yeah, and anybody in chat too, chime in. For you guys who have read, you guys probably are all readers of these books. Is this movie, would you kind of say my assessment is right? That this is like most readers' least favorite movie? There's this one note in here too. Do you feel like the people that are coming out of Voldemort's wands are ghosts? And is this possibly, even way back to your theory, Jen, is this a reason that Harry's parents aren't ghosts? That they're in Voldemort's wand, like prisoned?
Potentially, yes. I'm thinking, because we were talking about it earlier, like, is it possible that Voldemort keeps growing power because he's willing to kill so many witches and wizards, and then he's gaining the strength from them, and they're trapped in his wand? Maybe?
Right. Oh, man, that's weird, though, because if they're ghosts, or if they have the potential to still be ghosts, or if now maybe they're just locked down, but like some essence of his parents came out.
But then
Could
they were
be
saying,
saved.
Saved what?
Like saved, like from Voldemort's wand, pulled out, saved, and made into a form that Harry could talk to them.
That would be neat.
Because this is what happens, and this is the line that we were talking about way before, with her switching the order of mother and father here. Well, actually, here's another. So this is one of the lines. He concentrated every last particle of his mind upon forcing the bead backwards toward Voldemort. His ears full of Phoenix song, his eyes furious, fixed, and slowly, very slowly, the beads quivered to a halt. And then, just as slowly, they began to move the other way. And it was Voldemort's wand that was vibrating extra hard now. Voldemort, who looked astonished and almost fearful. And now another head was emerging, and this is a little bit later, from the tip of Voldemort's wand, and Harry knew when he saw it who it would be. He knew, as though he had expected it from the moment when Cedric had appeared from the wand. Knew because the woman appearing was the one he thought of more than any other tonight.
I cried at this part.
This is such a moving part.
He wants to see his mom.
I know.
Oh, gosh.
It is really, truly a beautiful section in this.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, I mean, he saw the image of them in the mirror, but I was like, this is the closest that he's, like, really seen them. I was like, the emotions that he must have felt. because he's terrified for his life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then the emotions of seeing his parent, I lost it.
And it is like the first time he actually hears their voice too.
Yeah.
Like talking to him.
Yeah. Because these people are coming out and they're encouraging him, hang on, Harry. Like, you can still do it. Come on, you got this. And then his mother comes out and says something. What does she say to him? Just like, hang on, Harry.
Your father's coming.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Like those lines, if you're Harry
and then
in
you're
that
like,
fight.
yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Harry in that fight and that's the first thing, he's not letting go for anything. And this is truly like just a small tidbit that JK throws in there about the power of love. Just even like hearing someone that you loved and still love, hearing their voice gives you strength to kind of get through tough times that you have to go through, like Harry. I think it's a really beautiful thing. It is a moving, emotional line.
Oh, yeah. Your father's coming. Hold on for your father.
Yeah.
Not that specific line.
Hold on for your
I
father.
was like,
Kristen is weeping while she's reading. This is so good. Yeah, this is an emotional chapter. And again, like, I think her writing in this book really comes out because this is one of those moments. Like, there's a few moments in these books that just are hard hitting. Like Neville's parents and torture, and that whole scene was hard hitting for me. And this is one of those that's really hard hitting too. Like when his parents come out of the wand, you're sitting there and you're like gutted. It like hurts, but you know that Harry's going to hang on because his parents are doing this. There's like hope there.
But then they said like they're only going to be around for a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, are they ghosts? I don't know. It sounds like they're disappearing soon.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I was curious. I don't get this dueling thing because it's not like he changed his thought patterns or he mustered up more energy or courage or something. Like, how is he getting defeated by these, you know, like the beads of light are coming towards him and then all of a sudden they're going back toward Voldemort? Like, I don't understand.
You don't
this
think
power
he was changing
struggle.
his focus or his amount of
Well,
energy?
that's what I just wanted to discuss.
Because at some point he was like, he said he was putting every bit of his energy into that bead of light. And he was like focusing on that and on Voldemort and like something about like his mental stability in that moment. I think that's the vibe I got. But we've never seen it before. And that's what's weird. Like, I think I was dismissing part of this as being like before he knew magic, when he made the glass disappear, and when he ended up on the roof of the school, things like that, where it's like deeper, it's emotional, like not active him choosing to do something, but just like his body reacting to the situation almost. Because yeah, in that moment, it feels like he wasn't doing that much, but he had his family's support. He had Frank's support. Huge. That must have been
But
so
that
funny
was
for Frank.
after.
He's just like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
wild. The
yeah.
afterlife is nuts.
That was
Never
after,
support yet.
though.
So you're saying even
But
from
it-
the very start, when they first
Like when it was
connected-
coming towards him and then it went back.
But it says he concentrated every last particle of his mind upon
Right.
placing the bead
Okay.
back. So I
like
think
just like a
you were
mental
saying-
focus on getting it back. In my head, it was kind of going back and forth a little bit, like throughout the fight, maybe.
I just find it crazy. He's like so much. He's like how much younger than Voldemort?
Yeah.
Significantly.
And
Right.
the
That's what I'm
magic
like.
they're using is so different.
Yeah.
It's a curse versus like a very basic spell.
Yeah.
And yet,
But a disarming spell. Like I feel like that's kind of it is
Yeah.
basic, but it's has like a stronger meaning. Well, to me, it's stronger than it. It seems as though it's disarming, not just a physical wand.
Yeah.
yep.
Anyway, sorry.
I think even the original way that she wrote it is pretty powerful too. Like someone in our chat is mentioning this, and I think I understood when I read this originally why she put it this way, that the father comes out first, and then the father is the one, and this is the reason why Harry is really able to hang on, because he says, don't worry, hold on, your mother's coming. And in that moment, Harry's like, I'm holding on with everything in me to see my mother again.
But that's the original. And
Yeah,
then
the
they
original is the
changed it.
father comes out first and then the mother comes out last. And this is the version where the mother comes out and the father comes out after.
So what did she want it to be?
She originally wrote it where the father comes out and the father comes and says, hold on just a little bit longer. Your mother is coming.
But they didn't like that because it's not the order they died.
Yeah, it's not the order they died in, so they changed it.
Yeah, that's weird because I would think maybe the father would die. I go back and forth now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I know.
Because then I'm just thinking, where was the father then?
Yeah. Did you expect the father and the mother to show up in this when everything was happening where you're like, oh.
No.
No. It felt like that was so many years ago that I thought no. I thought it would only be the people who have died, Cedric, Bertha, and Frank, in this
a few
life,
months,
so to speak.
Yeah, in this phase of his life.
That is kind of interesting, yeah. That it would go that far back.
Yeah.
And then did you guys expect Harry to escape? I mean, like, you kind of have to.
But to be honest,
There
I
are
thought
more
someone else was
books.
going to come save him. I didn't think he was going to get out on his own.
Who do you think was going to come and save him?
Maybe Dumbledore and the crew.
Phoenix.
Nah, the Phoenix save would have been a little lame. I mean, no offense to the Phoenix. It's
Well,
cool.
I'm just-
And the Phoenix was involved in this with the Phoenix song.
Yeah, but then it made me think, is that a Dumbledore thing? Because he has the pet Phoenix.
Right.
And then he also said if you show any sign of bravery for Gryffindor, you get like that sword thing.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if the Phoenix is tied into that. So like if you're showing
Right.
bravery, which he obviously was, is he going to get some power from the Gryffindor
Huh, interesting.
side?
Yeah, I didn't know if the Phoenix, like, if this was coming from both of their wands, whatever Phoenix it was that provided the core of their wands.
I thought that too, but then it was too...
Yeah, and then if they're both
Like-
like wands with the same type of core, then I'm like, does it give anyone an advantage? Maybe not.
Two tails from the same Phoenix, right? Two
Yeah.
feathers,
Two
I
feathers.
mean.
Maybe
from the tail.
this is the Phoenix that, because it's that both of their wands attacking, maybe this is the Phoenix that gave those. It's not Fox. Maybe it's just like the Phoenix that gave.
Right.
Maybe Fox is the one that gave the feathers to Ollivander. This could be the very Phoenix that gave them both their wands, and the Phoenix is singing because, I mean, what's happening? Why can't their wands attack each other? Why is this spell even happening in the first place?
Right. Like any
Maybe
other
because of
two
that.
wands maybe would have interacted differently. But these two.
So do you
But
think?
they also both have each other's power. It's like them attacking each other.
Right. They're so
themselves.
balanced. The wands, the people, all of it. Yeah. But I just couldn't picture Harry getting out of it. I'm like, how's he going to escape this one? Doesn't make any
Someone
sense.
was coming to save him, I thought.
Yes,
too.
and that's what I thought. I'm like, he's not qualified. This is never going to work. 30 Death Eaters and Voldemort?
I love how Voldemort was like, don't do anything.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
this. Like, he was so embarrassed. Like,
He
his
got embarrassed
pride
in front
would
of all
be,
his
yeah,
friends.
honestly, yeah.
he'd rather die than have them help.
And then they all were like, we're going to shoot at Harry anyway. They
Yeah.
felt like they kind of jumped in. And then I think Voldemort said something.
Yeah.
And then Harry is literally just dodging spells.
And taking
like their
Cedric's
bullets
body
and
back.
like rolling around. It almost felt selfish for Cedric to request the body delivery. I'm like, just let Harry do an Accio on the cup and be done. Making him run across the graveyard to get the body and bring it with him felt like too much.
We don't know how far it was. But I guess you're saying no matter how far it was.
Well, yeah, kind of no matter how far, but far enough that 30 Death Eaters got to take shots at him for like, while reading what felt like a long time.
Sorry, there's a lot of people in the chat right now talking about favorite books and everything like that. I'm getting so sucked
Nice.
into this discussion.
You're missing us talking?
Some people, so some people in the chat, there's two people in the chat that said this is their least favorite book.
Whoa.
A lot of people, it's some of their favorite book.
Right.
And shows the variety of Harry Potter fans out there.
What house are they in?
Yeah. What house are you guys in actually?
Whoa, nice.
Like,
I
let me
wonder
know
if
what
that
house you
plays
guys in.
into it.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Seriously. Probably does a little bit. Some people like on the other few podcasts that I listen to about Harry Potter, on one of them, particularly the two people on that podcast, both say this is their favorite book. And then they love all the other ones in the series, and they kind of go back to the first three kind of at their end of their list. So it just gets better from here, guys. Just gets better from here.
I like this one.
Does it? though?
Well, because
Don't say that. That means it's people are
I didn't mean it
dying.
in that way.
Don't.
Because every day
It always
John
gets
says
better.
that.
It does. I'm telling you guys, every chapter, you guys think it's getting better and better.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's
Telling
true.
you.
Just because I listened back to like the intro or episode 1, I grabbed a little portion of the podcast and I was like, it's funny because at the very beginning I was very skeptical.
Yeah.
And even at the beginning of book 1, or we had just finished book 1, I'm like, yeah, I'm like 70% in. But now I'm like fully in.
Yeah.
So looking back, it's funny to see the
Full
difference.
on nerd status.
Full on nerd status. Yeah.
That you're coming up with brainstorming ideas that are beyond how to promote, how to get people
It's becoming part
to
of my
become
identity.
Harry
Yes.
Potter nerds.
Yep.
Just like we released a short, how Hogwarts houses are part of your identity. Now just Harry Potter is part of your identity. I love it. Any other things in this chapter that you guys wanted to mention? Any other questions that you had?
I think it was just weird seeing the Portkey act in a way we hadn't seen. I didn't know it was going to go back. And is that based on touch or was it a timing? It couldn't be timing. It would have to be touch. Like the next
didn't
person who touches
do
it,
that?
it goes back. Right?
They had new ones when they went back from Quidditch, the Quidditch World Cup.
Well, what
thought it
this
was all
seems
the
to
same ones.
imply is
I know,
that
that's what I thought, too.
like the World Cup, they take the Portkeys and they put them in a bin when they get to the World Cup.
Yeah.
This seems to imply that after a certain amount of time, that bin would be empty because all those Portkeys get zapped back to where they came from. And maybe it's if a human touches it, it accelerates that. Or maybe after an hour, it just goes back.
Where does it say all this?
No, it doesn't. This is all just speculation. But it does say that they put their Portkeys in a bin. Like they gave them to someone or threw them into a bucket or
Well,
something.
they were just holding
Yeah.
them so that they could use them to
No,
get back.
I think they threw the shoe that it was, the boot, and just the spin. I remember reading that.
And it just felt so casual. Just like, yeah, put it in a bin. Like it doesn't matter about this.
And
And
then
I thought it
how
was
do they
because
get
they were going to
back
throw them
home?
away. But maybe every time they go to that same Portkey location, the same old boot would be sitting there. The same.
So they could
So they
pick it
didn't
out.
use the boot to go back?
Well, that's a great thing too. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I thought they like used
To
the boot
return
to get
home
there,
later?
threw it in the bin,
Yeah.
and
That's
then they
what I
came back
thought.
and used the boot
Probably,
to get
yeah.
back.
I think that's something
yeah.
like that. It would make sense.
That's
for
It
what
them.
makes
I
sense.
thought,
It just
yeah.
seems so haphazard, like putting it in just a bucket full of stuff. I would think there'd be like, oh yeah, put it here in this shelf in the right spot that you can get it later. But
Yeah, but couldn't you summon the right one? Be like, whichever one I used before,
Yeah.
come.
ooh, nice. I like it.
All those boots are now just being transported around every place as they're touching each other.
Yeah, no, and either way, that makes sense if the Portkey goes both ways. But I thought it was a one and done. Discard it, it's done.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
now I'm like, Portkeys both ways, cool.
It's a key. There and back. In
There
and
and
out.
Yeah.
Is there any other option but saying Harry is our favorite character in this that wins the House Cup?
Nope. We could maybe say like his parents,
maybe,
yeah, or like something, but
I mean, Voldemort does give us an information dump, so we don't love it, but maybe
yeah,
he gets
we're
it.
happy we got some info though.
Giving us some info.
Give it to Voldemort.
True, we can't. Yeah, Harry gets this
Harry
one
for the win.
He earned it big time.
What's your guys' favorite moment in these two chapters?
I was cheering Harry on when he was dueling.
Yeah.
I'm literally out loud.
Yeah.
Go, you go. You got it.
Like sweating, gripping your chair.
Well, I was on the
I
I
was
was on the
sweating.
treadmill while I was doing it. I was like, yes, go.
You're like running with Harry.
Do it for your mom and your dad.
When the spells are coming, Jenn is running on the treadmill, like dodging the spells that are coming at her too.
I was picturing it. That was good.
Yeah, it's hard to pick like a specific moment. The whole thing was just so action packed.
Yeah, honestly.
But the relief at the end,
But
and
I
getting
am-
to see his parents.
So impressed that he was able to challenge Voldemort.
Yep.
Like you would probably be shaking in the corner, like to stand up to him.
Yeah.
That's what the Death Eaters were doing. They were terrified. Well, Wormtail was terrified right now. And Harry Potter is standing up to him. Shows immense courage.
And I think maybe for me, the moment where it shifted was when he resisted the Imperious.
Oh yeah.
Because then up until that point, I'm like,
He was
somebody's got to come
doomed.
save him.
Yeah.
You know, like, and then at that point I was like, oh my goodness, he can resist this. He can push back. He's got like fighting power here. Whoa, go
I think
Harry.
that's exactly how he felt too.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't even know.
Yeah.
And then I forget what he said. I won't. Something like that.
Yeah.
I forgot
will
what he
not
was
bow
asking.
to you.
Oh, bowing.
I think it was
That's what
bowing at that
I
point.
couldn't figure out what it was.
And then Harry like wasn't bowing, and then he's like, "I'll make you bow." Imperious curse, and then
Curves
he's
the
like,
spine,
"Nope."
yeah. Voldemort is doing insanely advanced magic that we just have not seen the likes of. So he is a powerful being, 100%.
How did he become that way? Yeah,
Hope
I
we
know.
find out.
That's such
I know. It better get answered. Otherwise, I'm going to throw these books
Oh, we're gonna answer.
full of Kristen.
JK wouldn't
Throw
do
the book.
anything else.
Yeah, again, it's
Yes.
good endings. That's why these books have stood the test of time, because the way they've ended has been fantastic.
I better like it.
You will.
Thanks.
I can never give a guarantee whether someone will like the end or not, but
I can't look.
it is as near as a guarantee that I can. Just that the ending is just,
Great for the book.
she's like, we were talking about her writing style progressing, and I can't even say it's satisfying. I can't like describe it. It is just like a near perfectly written ending to a story. Everything that's encapsulated in it. So I don't think that in any way you're going to be disappointed when you finish these books. I don't know a
matter
single
the
person that have
outcome.
read these books and that has gone along this journey and not loved how it ended, or not even like loved it. Like, oh, I really
It
like
just
how this
like
is.
was satisfying.
It's just like, yeah, you just feel it. You're like, this series ended good. Not even good in a good way. It could be good in a bad way, but Siri is now going on my computer because I said serious.
Nice.
Thank you. Anyway.
Matt. It answers your Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Do you
answer.
like, how does it end?
Yeah, how does this end? Anyway, thanks for joining us on our journey of
didn't say my
Harry
favorite
Potter.
part.
Go ahead. Sorry, say your favorite part.
I know I didn't talk a lot tonight, but goodness.
She's
You're wearing
busy.
your invisibility cloak.
No, she's busy knitting your.
No, she's already crocheted
No.
mine.
This
She's
is mine.
crocheting her
This is
invisibility
Danny's.
cloak.
You're fast.
Oh wait, were you
wow.
in the bathroom?
Yeah, you
when
were in the
showed
bathroom.
it
when I
off?
showed
Oh,
it off.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
Looks good.
Well, you're going to have to show it again.
His
Deal.
Weasley sweater.
Yes.
Kristen's sweater.
No, I'll say it's emotional, but when he got to see his parents, kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the wand.
I think that was my favorite moment
Anyway,
as well.
you can end the podcast.
On that note, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Thanks for joining us online, guys. It was fun tonight. I love when you guys have a lot of comments and you guys make me laugh. And I'm trying to hold in my laughter when you guys are talking.
Distracts John.
So distracting, but so fun.
You read Justin.
I know.
Yeah, he's not even listening to us.
Sometimes you guys like literally
great
just turn toward each other because like I'm here.
We're like, yeah,
typing on my
John's doing
computer, and I'm,
something over there.
smiling.
All right, Jen,
you guys
what do
are
you
laughing.
think?
You guys are making me laugh so much.